By the time you click this video and reach this exact moment, 15 seconds have already vanished. Congratulations, you've successfully navigated the first gauntlet. But don't settle into comfort just yet. In precisely 32 seconds, your brain will begin to scream. It will itch with an irresistible urge to swipe away. Skip this, it whispers. This is too long. Where is the next hit? Where is the real stimulation? We are currently inmates in a 47-second prison. According to data tracked over 2 decades by Professor Gloria Mark of the University of California, the average human attention span on digital screens was 150 seconds in 2004. By 2026, that figure has plummeted to a devastating 47 seconds. We have devolved into cognitive goldfish, incapable of anchoring our minds to a single thought for even one full minute. This isn't just a cliche about impatient youth or a generational gap. This is a neurological collapse with existential implications. On February 18, 2026, a landmark case sent shockwaves through the global legal community. Mark Zuckerberg stood before the LA Superior Court facing a lawsuit filed by a 20-year-old woman named Kaylee. Kaylee had been hooked on YouTube since age 6 and Instagram since 9. She spent 16 hours a day in an endless scroll. Her brain has literally lost its capacity for self-regulation. Its internal janitor has quit. In a moment of chilling honesty, Zuckerberg admitted that user timeshare is the ultimate metric of success. In other words, the prosperity of big tech is directly proportional to your cognitive bankruptcy. They are harvesting your brain rot and liquidating your focus for profit. Now, the 47-second wall is approaching you again. Is your thumb twitching toward the back button? Are you already thinking about the comment section? If you can shatter this barrier and remain here until the end, you will reclaim a superpower that 99% of humanity has already lost. We are about to dissect exactly how you were locked in this cognitive cell and the haunting truth of why your orbitofrontal cortex is swelling to abnormal proportions. Let the autopsy of the modern mind begin. Let's be honest with ourselves. Wasn't this you last night? You probably lay down with a firm promise to your tired self, just 5 more minutes of scrolling, then I'm out. But the next time you look up, the horizon is already bleeding with the pale light of dawn. Your thumb continues to dance as if it's under a magic spell. Your mind is flashing a warning light, screaming at you to stop, but your body completely ignores the command. Why can't we stop this mindless repetition? By 2025, statistics revealed that the average TikTok user spends a staggering 168 minutes a day on the platform. 80% of university students drown in the short-form ocean for over an hour every single day. But the truly terrifying part isn't the time lost, it's the direction. Consider a chilling experiment conducted with an algorithmic bot named Kentucky 96. Researchers programmed this bot to show only a marginal interest in keywords related to sadness or loneliness. The result? Devastating. Within a mere 40 minutes, the algorithm had funneled the user into a dark abyss of content glorifying self-harm, eating disorders, and terminal despair. This isn't a failure of your character, it's a hijacking of your biology. The algorithm doesn't care what you like, it cares about what you cannot resist. Those 15-second clips Neon is devouring are not mere entertainment. They are digital narcotics designed to paralyze your executive function and force you to obey a single command: next. This is the root of the doom spending and financial nihilism currently sweeping through white-collar professionals in London, New York, and Seoul. When the brain's reward system is shattered, long-term goals like saving for a home or career development lose their luster. Instead, the brain surrenders to instant gratification and impulsive consumption. Stop lying to yourself by saying, "I'm just doing this for fun." Every time you perform that infinity scroll, big tech servers are cataloging your vulnerabilities, and they are already preparing the perfect video to break you even more effectively tomorrow night.
Let me share a devastating truth with you. If you continue at this pace, within 5 years, you won't just be distracted, you will be cognitively disabled. You won't be able to finish a 500-page book, nor will you have the mental stamina to endure a simple 5-minute conversation with the person you love. I am not exaggerating. We are currently navigating the most spectacular era of cognitive bankruptcy in the history of our species. In a landmark 2023 report, U.S. Surgeon General Vivek Murthy made a declaration that should have stopped the world in its tracks. He stated that loneliness is not just a sad feeling, it is a physical toxin, as biologically destructive as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Actual social isolation increases your risk of premature death by 25%. Isn't it a haunting irony? We are the most connected humans to ever exist. Your LinkedIn is overflowing with connections, and your Instagram followers number in the thousands. Yet nearly 29% of white-collar professionals aged 30 to 44 now suffer from chronic loneliness. Why? Our brains were biologically engineered for deep connection, but the current ecosystem of short-form content and SNS forces us into a state of cognitive offloading. Because you no longer need to think deeply, your prefrontal cortex, the CEO of your brain, enters a dormant state. You are slowly becoming a digital zombie, capable only of reacting to the next immediate stimulus. Think about your performance at work. You're writing an important email, but a notification pings. You pick up the phone. Did you know it takes an average of 25 minutes to regain your original level of focus after a single interruption? Your productivity is plummeting. Your creative well has run dry. Your very career is spiraling into cognitive bankruptcy. Do you still think this isn't about me? If you are watching this right now and your mind is already wandering, or if you feel a desperate itch to check the comments below, you are already standing on the precipice of ruin. Your brain is screaming. It's screaming because it is forgetting how to think for itself. It's screaming because you are becoming a serf to an algorithm designed by someone else to harvest your life. We must ask ourselves the ultimate question. Will you continue to sacrifice your real life and your real brain for a handful of fake digital hearts? Or will you choose right here and right now to break the loop? Up until now, we've discussed your mood and your feelings, but it's time to move into a much darker, much more visceral territory. We need to talk about the physical construction happening inside your skull right now. The term brain rot is often used as a joke, but medically speaking, it's a half-truth. Your brain isn't exactly melting. It is something far more sinister. It is becoming malformed. In 2025, a landmark MRI study conducted by Tianjin Normal University and a global research coalition sent shockwaves through the neuroscientific community. After scanning the brains of over 100 students addicted to short-form content, they discovered a terrifying anomaly. The orbitofrontal cortex and the gray matter volume in the cerebellum were significantly larger than in a healthy control group. Now, you might think, isn't a bigger brain better? In this case, absolutely not. This isn't muscle built through exercise. This is more akin to an inflammatory tumor. The OFC is the region responsible for evaluating the value of a reward. A brain marinated in high-intensity stimuli, like TikTok or Reels, forces this area to expand unnaturally just to process the relentless floods of dopamine. Here is where the catastrophe begins. When your reward center gains this much malignant power, the prefrontal cortex, the brakes of your brain, becomes as weak and malnourished as a starving child. This is the neurological equivalent of installing a turbo engine into a sports car with broken brakes. When you tell yourself, okay, I'll stop now and get back to work, your overgrown OFC overrides you. It screams, no, there might be an even bigger reward in just 15 more seconds. Your logic is silenced. Your 99% of willpower cannot defeat 1% of structural brain damage. The reason you can't finish a single page of a book, the reason you can't listen to your manager for more than 60 seconds, isn't a character flaw. It's because your brain has been physically remodeled to do nothing but process instant gratification.
You are being downgraded into a high-performance machine optimized for a single, mindless task, the swipe. It's time to reveal who designed this monstrous architecture and look at the blueprint of the digital casino hidden behind the screen.
Have you ever stepped inside a casino? There are no clocks, there are no windows. It is a sealed vacuum, meticulously engineered to keep you anchored to the game. But right now, you are carrying that exact same casino in the palm of your hand. Your smartphone is not a tool. It is the most sophisticated digital slot machine ever conceived by human intelligence. To understand the machinery of your addiction, we must travel back to the 1950s, to the laboratory of psychologist B.F. Skinner. He discovered a haunting truth about behavior. If you give a pigeon food every time it hits a button, it eventually gets bored. But if you give it food unpredictably, sometimes on the first hit, sometimes on the 10th, the pigeon becomes obsessed. It will peck at that button until it collapses from exhaustion. This is what we call intermittent reinforcement. The algorithm doesn't want to show you your favorite video every time. That would be too predictable. Instead, it hides one viral masterpiece between 10 mediocre clips. Your brain begins to crave the possibility of the jackpot. This creates the near-miss phenomenon. When you swipe past a video that was almost interesting, your brain releases more dopamine than if you had actually found what you were looking for. You are hooked on the next. This is no accident. Sean Parker, the founding president of Facebook, famously admitted the truth. We understood we were exploiting a vulnerability in human psychology. We designed it to give you a little dopamine hit every time someone likes or comments. The frustration prevention techniques used by slot machine designers in Vegas have been surgically implanted into Instagram Reels and TikTok. The house always wins. In this case, the house is a server farm harvesting your attention. This isn't a fair fight. It is your fragile willpower against a supercomputer built by thousands of the world's most brilliant engineers. They have already calculated which colors make your pupils dilate and which editing rhythm keeps your thumb moving. Now that we have unmasked the enemy, it's time to see the tragic final state of the victim. We need to discuss why you can no longer read more than 3 lines of text and the rise of cognitive laziness. We must now confront the tragic consequence of this digital carnival. Have you noticed it lately? The tightening in your chest when you face a long report? The flash of irritation when a book requires more than 10 seconds of focus? You find yourself instinctively hunting for the TLDR summary before you've even finished the first paragraph. This is not a simple lack of patience. Neurologists call this cognitive offloading. Our brains are biological machines designed to conserve energy. By delegating all memory, navigation, and critical thinking to your smartphone, your brain is effectively atrophying the muscles required for deep analysis. The data is terrifying. The Brain Rot Scale study, published in 2025, revealed a neurological state of emergency. Individuals addicted to short-form content now possess a brain that sounds a panic alarm whenever it encounters a heavy cognitive load. When faced with complex grammar or logical reasoning, your brain no longer sees a task to be solved. It sees a threat. It triggers a visceral repulsion, forcing you to retreat back into the safety of the shallow scroll. In a 2025 study of students in London and New York, researchers observed a rise in digital nihilism. The prevailing attitude among the youth was a chilling cynicism. Why bother reading deeply when AI can summarize it? Why think when the scroll tells me what to believe? We haven't become smarter by having more information. We have entered an era of cognitive regression. We are losing the ability to read the nuances in a conversation. We are losing the empathy required to understand another human's eyes. The cost of delegating your intellect to an external device is the fragmentation of your soul. Your entire world is now trapped inside a 15-second frame. But do not succumb to despair just yet. The human brain possesses a miraculous quality called plasticity. The circuits are broken, but they are not gone. It is time to formulate a strategic counteroffensive to reclaim your mind.
Now it is time for the reconstruction. The good news, the miraculous news, is that your brain is not a static machine. It possesses neuroplasticity, an incredible ability to rewire and repair its own broken circuits. In 2026, high-level executives in Silicon Valley and elite attorneys in London are already using specific cognitive protocols to shield their focus. They treat their attention like the trillion-dollar asset it is. Let's transplant their 3-step action plan directly into your life. Step 1. Stimulus control. Simply turning off notifications is a losing battle. Instead, adopt the dopamine fasting 2.0 strategy developed by Dr. Cameron Sepah. The key is not to quit the digital world entirely, but to establish reward windows. Schedule your smartphone use for specific times, perhaps 11 a.m., 4 p.m., and 8 p.m. By doing this, you train your brain to stop its constant anxious anticipation of a reward. You are telling your OFC, not now, later. Step 2. Metacognitive intervention. The moment your hand reaches for that device, you must trigger a mental circuit breaker. Ask yourself one question. Am I picking this up for a specific purpose, or am I running from boredom? This single question forces your dormant prefrontal cortex to wake up and override the impulsive frenzy of the OFC. A 2025 study showed that this simple self-awareness training can reduce short-form addiction symptoms by over 30%. Step 3. Biological reconstruction. You must treat your brain with the same care you would a healing muscle. 30 minutes of aerobic exercise is not just for your heart, it is a brain tonic. Exercise triggers the release of BDNF, a protein that literally acts as fertilizer to repair the connection between your frontal lobe and your reward system. People participating in the No Scroll September movement all report the same phenomenon. Only after I started running did the words in a book finally start to make sense again. This is not about fixing a bad habit. It is a war to delete the malicious code big tech has implanted in your neural hardware. It is about reclaiming the sovereignty that was always yours. Now, let's look at the ultimate prize, the superpower you will possess in the world of 2026 and beyond. We have reached the final crossroads. In the year 2026, humanity is undergoing a silent but violent bifurcation. The world is splitting into two distinct classes: those who are imprisoned by the 47-second wall, surrendering their souls to fragmented echoes of an algorithm, and those who possess the sovereign will to command their own attention and descend into the depths of deep thought. Make no mistake, this is not a matter of discipline or hard work. This is the birth of a new cognitive caste. In an era where everyone is cognitively bankrupt, the ability to pour 4 hours of uninterrupted focus into a single problem is now more valuable than any degree, any title, or any amount of raw capital. Focus is the ultimate superpower. The data confirms the vision. Those who reclaim their focus don't just work better, they live better. Individuals who master their attention see a 40% increase in cognitive output. But the true reward is not found in a spreadsheet. When you stop chasing fake digital hearts and spend 5 minutes looking into the eyes of the human being standing in front of you, your brain's oxytocin circuits flare back to life. Your heart rate stabilizes. Your biological age literally begins to reverse. Do you know why the architects of Silicon Valley and the global power brokers are suddenly flocking to analog communities and deep reading retreats?
Because they know the ultimate truth. The people who build the technology do not allow themselves to be consumed by it. They understand that attention is the currency of the 21st century. They capitalize on your distraction while they harvest the fruits of their own focus. The question is, which side are you on? Break the loop that fragments your mind every 47 seconds. Your brain can be rewired. Your life can be reclaimed. Turn away from the neon glare of the screen. Follow the steady, quiet flame of your own inner fire. Focus is your final asset. It is the only proof that you are still human. Tonight, turn off the power and go on your first real date with your own life. Break the loop. You deserve your own presence.